Paul Gascoigne, a genius with the ball,
Wasn't bad, was it?
and a legend off it. For every outrageous goal or dazzling dribble, there's an even more outrageous story. We're counting down 3 of the funniest Gaza tales. The last one is my personal favourite, so I'd recommend staying until the end or skipping to that one if you're short on time. Let me know what you think. First up, the question Gaza was asked time and time again: would Manchester United have been better or worse for his partying?
People always say would have been different if I signed for Man United. Would he kept us under control? Well, Eric Cantona two-footed somebody in the neck in the stands. Wayne Rooney went with a granny, and Ryan Giggs went with his brother's wife, so I make it fit it in.
Mike is on the floor. Where are you, Mike? Are you still around? He's on the floor laughing. You've got a point, Gaza.
Only Gaza could turn a career-defining transfer question into a comedy routine. And honestly, he might have been right.
And they used to be in every morning, bang on 9 o'clock for training at 10, but one morning he's not there. It's 10 o'clock, 10:15, and we're looking about, where's Gascoigne, you know? Next minute the door gets kicked open and he comes in with a pair of waders on, right? With a collar and tie underneath. Holding up two of the biggest trout you've ever seen in your life, right? So we were just falling about laughing, couldn't believe it, hysterical, right? So he was injured and I was injured, so the boys go away in a minibus and they go away training, and he said to me, he says, right, come on, Coist, he says, we'll have a laugh for the fish. I says, what do you mean? He said, right, who's been annoying you? And I went, I said, Jury. I says, Gordon Jury's been really annoying me. He says, right, get into his pocket, get his car keys. So we went into Dukey's car, his trousers, went out of his car, right? So he comes out with the 2 fish, Gascoigne. So we open up the boot. No, this is unbelievable. So one screw, the spare wheel, and I throw the fish in, and I go to throw the other fish in. And Gascoigne says, no, he says. I said, what do you mean? He says, watch. So he takes one of the fish out, screws the wheel back on, he finds a compartment in the back seat of this car that you wouldn't know existed, and throws the other fish in there. And he looks at me and says, when he finds the first fish, he'll think that's it. Do you know what I mean?
So
it's a sensational criminal devious mind. That's what we're dealing with. Well, I need to tell you, for the next 3 or 4 days, Jury's coming in and saying, "They're smelling my car. I can't get rid of it." He says, "I'm even stopping at the traffic lights." He says, "There's people walking by me." And then, of course, he finds the first fish. Like Gascoigne said he would find the first fish. And he thinks that's it. But he says, for the life of me, I can't get rid of the smell. And I swear to God, we went out one day to go on the bus, and you know these wee Christmas trees, air fresheners? It was like Sherwood Forest. Yellow ones, orange ones, blue ones, purple ones, every fragrance known to man, you know. And I think it took him about a month to get rid of the smell in the car when he found the second fish. But I mean, that was Gascoigne, the funny side of Gascoigne.
Stories like this are why his teammates say you never quite knew what was coming next. Here's a bonus story from Gaza's time in Glasgow, told by Ally McCoist.
So I'm in a dressing room, and it's just the day before Guy Fawkes, right? So Gascoigne's not even in the conversation, right? He's away over the dressing room. So I turn to wee Durante and says, "Do you know what I'm going to do, wee man?" I says, "I'm going to get some fireworks." I said, "My mate Knoxie's coming out of the house." I said, "I'm going to get some fireworks. I'm going to have a wee firework display in the house." "Ah, that's a good idea, Coist." He says, "Smashing, hope that goes well." So I turn round, and as I turn round again, Gaza's right in my face. And he looks at me. He says, "Coisty, I'm your man for fireworks." And I know what you're thinking, guys. At that point, I should just start in the opposite direction, but I didn't, right? I said, "What's the deal?" He said, £100 boxes, a tenner a box. I went, "Right, I'm in for 2. So he says, "Meet Jimmy at the top, back of the Celtic end at Ibrox. Meet Jimmy tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock at the back of the Celtic end." I said, "Right, fine." So sure enough, I pull up 9 o'clock in the morning. Celtic, Jimmy's there, Jimmy Five-Belly's there, this big blacked out Range Rover, right? Honestly, it was like something of a narcos, right? So he said, "Open the boot." So he opens the boot, and he's bin bags, he's covering these big boxes, 2 big bin bags, stick them in the boot of the car. I went, "Brilliant, give me his 20 quid. Away I went. Walked into the dressing room, Gascoigne says, "How'd that go?" I went, "Swimmingly," right? Smashing. So that night, I'm back at the house. Knoxie, I says to Knoxie, "Knoxie, we better have a look at these fireworks." before we set them off for the kids. He says, good idea. So we went down the bottom of the garden and we pulled the bin bags off these boxes. And I'm not kidding, the boxes are that size and stamped right on across the front of the boxes is that radiation sign, right? And it says underneath it, spectators must be 50 metres from detonation, right? So I said to Noxie, what are we going to do here? He says, right, we better have a look at one of these rockets. So I pulled the rocket out. I swear to God, this rocket had a head on it like that, right? The next level up must have been manned, right? So I said, we better light one of these. I said, on you go. He went, I'm not getting near that. He said, you go, shut her up. And it went, on the way it went. So two of us were hiding behind the shed like that, right? And it's not moved. And then I think this thing took off, right? And it goes away up, and it keeps going, and it keeps going. And I've just turned around to look at him, and I went, he's done us, you know. And as I went, he's done, boom, right? This rocket explodes, man, like you have no idea, right? Lights up the whole village. We're like, we schoolboys, that's magic. So anyway, we had a great firework display. We'll move on to the Sunday. We had a dinner in Glasgow, and we're coming back, and my wife and I in the car, and she's on the phone to Gascoigne because Gaza and I don't know, he wasn't well, or he'd fallen out with somebody, whatever it was. Anyway, he never went to dinner. So we're coming back up the road about 1:30, and he's on the phone telling us, and talking away, blah blah blah. So anyway, I got up the stair, got into my bed, and I've got a kind of bedroom ensuite and a bay window, and Alison comes running through for the toilet. She says, quick, get up. I says, what is it? She says, you need to get up. I says, what? He says, Paul. She said, Paul's got 2 of those rockets left. He lived in the next village to us, by the way. He said he's going to point one in the general direction of your village to see if we can see it. Right. So I said, Wayne, don't be so, can I be bored? And I just about put my head in the pillow, and all you could hear was boom, right? And the whole room lit up, right? So I'm lying there, and my wee shoulders are going like, you know, I'm howling with laughter. Anyway, the phone goes, right? But 15 minutes later, whatever it was, 2:10. I went, oh, aye. So I picked up the phone. A voice said to me, is that you, Mr. McCoist? I said, yeah, that's Mr. McCoist, yes. He said, it's Sergeant Duncan here from Johnston Police Station. He says, just to let you know, we've got a Paul Gascoigne with us, accompanies at the moment, and he's told us a story. We've got a report of explosions going off between the 2 villages. Can you confirm or deny that he was setting off fireworks? And I said, whoa, I'm not wanting to stick him in. I said, listen, Sergeant, he might have. You know what he's like, he might have. Okay, Mr. McCoy. Well, it's just to inform you that we'll be providing Mr. Gascoigne with a bed and some breakfast for the next few hours. Right? But you're more than welcome to pick him up any time after 6 a.m, right? So I'm like, oh my God. I said, I better get in there sharp. We need to try and keep this out of the papers. So I'm running there at 5 to 6 in the morning. I've had 3 hours sleep. And he's standing there at the top of the steps, right? Like one of the Birmingham 4, you know, I'm 3 the Birmingham 4. He's standing there. He doesn't even look at me, Gascoigne, right? He just walks down, walks by the driver's seat, comes into the passenger seat, still doesn't look at me, looking out the window, and he says, Coisty. I said, what is it? He said, that wasn't one of my best ideas.
And to finish off, one of Gaza's most famous pranks.
I mean, that time, remember Tottenham when I brought the ostrich into training?
I wasn't there that day. Was it that at Tottenham? But I have heard about it. I've had it on good authority that is true. What on earth possessed you to bring in an ostrich?
Yeah. No, because the lad said I was boring, and I'm not. So I just thought, what am I going to do? So as I'm passing the zoo, I thought, right, that's what I'm going to do. And I went into the zoo and asked him to borrow an ostrich. And I remember I put my ear shirt on it and put it in the back of the car. And it's so funny, as I'm driving to the training ground, someone stopped, tooted the horn and went, put his thumbs up, and I went, wow, I'm famous, I'm recognised. I forgot it's the ostrich, he's laughing at the back of the car. Yeah. And I just remember, when the lads were warming up, I threw the ostrich onto the training pitch. Gaffer, I'm going to play for you, he's quick as
Can we just say no ostriches were hurt in this podcast?
Yeah, but Megan, what was funny is the lads finished training at 12:30. You ever tried catching an ostrich?
Well, no, not often.
I think I took it back to the zoo about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. He went, what have you done to me? Ostrich, I went, calm down, the gaffer's not saying it because it's shit in front of goal. I got banned.
And that's 3 of the funniest Paul Gascoigne stories. From United near misses to run-ins with wildlife, Gascoigne's life was as entertaining off the pitch as it was on it. Do you have a classic memory of your own? Drop it in the comments. And if you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, hit subscribe. We've got plenty more football stories coming your way.